Hey everybody, CVH here, and in today's video we're going to be playing some Token Spellsword on the ladder. And I'm choosing to play Token Spellsword today because it's been forever since I've played Spellsword on the channel. Seriously, I look back and the last video from any Spellsword deck whatsoever was just so long ago. You guys can check my work on that. So I decided I'd rectify that today and bring a class back that hasn't seen a whole lot of love on the channel. And I don't remember what the last Spellsword deck I played was, but it's kind of ironic that I'm bringing back Spellsword with tokens, because tokens is pretty much just willpower. As you can see, we have the same token shell that Token Crusader, Token Mage, and Token Monk all share, and we're trying to beat people up in the early game with Siege Catapults in this version. We have General Tullius in there, Edict of Azure for some decent removal, obviously. It's a little bit more reliable than Imprison, so I cut the Imprisons and the Imperial Reinforcements, and I've been able to make room for the 3 copies of Bone Colossus for the mid to the late game, which will give this deck an edge against any slower decks if they are, trying to stall out a little bit against us. Bone Colossus is a very hard card to remove with a single card that's not named Dawn's Wrath, obviously. So hopefully this deck can take some wins and we can have some fun with some underused cards nowadays. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and say subscribe for more Legends content. Follow my stream in the description, and I'll see you next time. We've got the Spellsword Mirror Match. And not the greatest hand, it's not the worst hand, we just don't have a 1-drop. I want to keep this hand without a 1-drop. Most Spellsword decks are usually slower, so I'm not going to be too worried about the early turns. Hive Defender is so powerful. If I ship any part of this hand, I feel like the rest of the hand just suffers so much. I'm going to tentatively keep this. Although if it is slow deck, do we really want the Hive? You know what? Let's do that. And sort of live off the grace of our mulligan. Well, I would say it got a little bit worse depending on what he plays, but not by that much. And there was definitely the opportunity for a better hand there.
There's a plan. There's always a plan.
Now, it wasn't really a question of which one to play there, but this one is also better against Spellsword because it doesn't get executed and there are no firebolts.
I smell the stench of the living.
And Cleric of Kine is really solid here, in much the same way that Resolute Ally probably would have been.
Bless us, Kai. May we serve you with every word.
Unfortunately, slow Spellsword decks are usually jam-packed with support removal in the form of Edict of Azure and Shadow from Priest.
I've got you covered.
Don't want to trade in because then he just attacks the other one for free. He attacks one here, and then I play Divine Fervor and hopefully get to trade into the Hive and kill it. We'll see if we can live that dream. I mean, it's not the greatest turn ever, but we do get to live that dream. Whatever kind of dream that is.
You must be cleansed.
Typical Spellsword support removal.
There's a plan. There's always
I'm thinking I actually don't want to gain that much life. I didn't really have a choice until now, but if he does go for a drain with a card like Undying Dragon, I would want the cards. I really don't think it's going to come to that, because by the time those cards would be played, he probably would have already stabilized. But, just thinking about it. And he used 2 Edicts already. I think I just have to play this left, as crazy as that is.
You won't foil my plan.
We lose it on 2 skeletons, but we don't necessarily lose the Bruma immediately. He's gonna ring into Dawn's Wrath, and we're gonna have to pack it up.
Mother of mud.
I mean, if he has a Dawn's Wrath, this is the time.
3.
Okay, so we can safely say he doesn't have a Dawn's Wrath, right? That's a reasonable assumption here, because that definitely would have been a lot better, I imagine. Just like we can assume he doesn't have Javelin, because he probably would have used it over the second Edict. I think he had enough Magicka for... Maybe he did, maybe he wanted to... I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it.
A little distraction might prove useful.
Well, we know he has a Hive Defender. That's the one piece of concrete information we have. Unfortunately, Divine Fervor doesn't make my trades any better.
Training is over. It's time to act.
You won't foil my plan.
The Dark Brotherhood is upon us, and I shall cure it!
So we have 13 on board, 17 with the Fervor, but that obviously gets impacted by the Hive Defender, which he could have played. Javelin definitely preferred, because I might not be able to attack with Siege Catapult, and I wouldn't be milling his other Hive Defenders with the Black Dragon. So let's hope to top deck East March Crusader. I'd say Priest of the Ape, but that doesn't draw a card here. I wouldn't say no to Atelius or another Bone Colossus or something. Getting back Dark Guardian, so he's probably gonna double guard next turn. A 4-7 and a 3-6. That's solid. Most of the time. Sometimes it's not. Okay. And we'd skillfully dodge the prophecies. So with the guards that we know he has, we won't have lethal still. The 7-5 will trade into the 4-7. We can trade the 3-3 and the 3-5 into the Hive Defender, and we'll have 5 damage going through against 8 life. And again, we just have to hope he has not come into a Dawn's Wrath at any point, for any reason.
There's a plan. There's always a
And
plan.
he gains 2 life, so we are 5 damage off of lethal. Oh, and yeah, for situations like this, Dawnbreaker is totally reasonable, by the way. Dawnbreaker is just a fine card to include. Sometimes it's in, sometimes it's out, just a space concern, really. We will be losing 1 body over here.
We'll hold, no matter what.
Honestly, wasn't really a concern because this is already going to be attacking. But then he could just trade into that, so trading into this isn't that big of a deal. Not that big of a difference. I could draw Edict, though. I would like to draw first. If we drew Edict, that would have been exact lethal. Or a little bit over lethal, actually.
You can't defeat me.
Again, I could gain the life here. I could also just trade into that. Let's see, if I trade into that, he Manticoras my 6-3. Don't have lethal. If I attack face and he Manticoras, I'm still gonna kill him.
You can't defeat us.
I think.
I've got you.
Obviously, a prophecy messes with that a bit. And again, he attacked me a little bit aggressively earlier, so if he did have to play an Undying Dragon or something, or randomly come across something with Breakthrough, that would give me a card which I am very much willing to take. But I think it just comes down to this turn, if Manticore is good enough, and I don't think it is.
There's a plan. There's always a plan.
I will keep Sotha Sil's people alive.
We'll never give ground. You won't foil my plan.
It was a valiant effort to stay alive, but not quite enough.
Don't mess with me.
And we were not going to draw anything with a high impact, so closing the game not a moment too soon. We beat the slower Spellsword deck. We are the superior Spellsword deck. For the moment. Guess we would like to keep the catapult. Probably ship the rest to try to get a bit more of an aggressive start.
Honor and praise to you.
May you walk on warm sands.
Bless us, kind. May we serve you with every word.
There's a plan. There's always a plan.
For the warrior wife.
Don't want to play a word crafter on that and get a favorable trade there. Makes me think he's tokens. Maybe midrange. Maybe midrange. Hopefully not.
I've got you covered.
That does look like tokens. Kind of a slower mid-range you start ourselves.
Training is
Kind of awkward sometimes how Pit Lion and Siege Catapult compete in their positioning.
Don't miss me.
Well, with that, we can get an attack in with a Siege Catapult. Or we could contest the 5th Legion Trainer. I think we can wait from the Siege Catapult attacking. I want to contest the 5th Legion with something large.
Soldiers, report. Your orders. Your orders.
I'm okay holding my ring charge too. Black Dragon is arguably better to contest the 5th Legion Trainer because it'll mill the other copies and it's kind of an important card. But if I draw Bone Colossus, the difference between playing that in 3 turns and 2 turns is pretty huge.
The Eight protect us.
Your blood will spill!
Wonder why he didn't want that 1 face damage. Maybe he just forgot, I don't know. Kind of awkward in that I still can't actually attack with the Siege Catapult because I drew a 3 drop as opposed to a 2 or a 1. Yeah, well. Think we can safely go for Black Dragon in the left now?
The Dark Brotherhood is a fox, and I shall cure it.
We might be quickly approaching a race. Siege Catapult did a lot of damage in the last game against the Control Spellsword. Definitely held its own there.
I've got you covered.
By the 8th, they will meet their makers.
I hear and obey. I am death!
Really don't think I mind this. Yeah, sure, he has the tome, he can gain a little bit of life. That last ring charge, getting that Bone Colossus out there early, seems pretty good to me.
Leave nothing. Don't miss. We'll hold, no matter what. I've got you covered.
I am death!
Bone Colossus will probably fight it next turn. But it generated a lot of value, helped us trade. Edict was a pretty good draw there. At a time when Imprison would not have gotten the job done. It's kind of funny that in the first two games with this Token Spellsword deck, our first game was up against another Spellsword deck, and our second game was up against another Token deck. Although the Spellsword deck wasn't tokens, and the other Token deck wasn't Spellsword. Like half mirror matches, I guess. These two decks are way more similar than this deck was to the Control Spellsword, though.
Training is over. It's time.
General willpower core remains the same.
Your orders, your orders. Inera, guide us.
We could trade into that, or we could just deal a ton of damage.
Training is over. It's time to act. I am death.
Don't miss. Wait. Did you hear that?
I like a ton of damage. Like 7 turns later, Siege Catapult finally attacks. Fortunately, I think it's going to be setting up for easy lethal here. Can't imagine that a similar token deck would have any ways to deal with this. If we put ourselves in his shoes, right? What are we going to do?
You can't defeat me.
Into the breach.
Staying alive for one more turn probably isn't
A little
that
distraction
unreasonable.
might prove useful.
I hear and obey. Wait. Did you
Ah,
hear
he does
that?
have a guard too. Okay. So that should be good enough.
The eight protect us.
Needed any creature there.
Don't mess with me.
You can't defeat me.
Steadfast.
Oh, I didn't need to play ally there. I was just... I was thinking if we hit a lightning bolt that targeted the marked man, we could resolute ally up.
Test.
So I sort of did it. Just because I was thinking about it in my head as a contingency. It's a full ship against the Spellsword. This isn't the same Spellsword as last time, right? I don't think so. Now, can we draw into the Pit Lion for the turn 2 ring Pit Lion?
Soldiers,
The
report.
world holds its breath.
Your orders, your orders.
There's a plan. There's always a plan.
We cannot. We can play Resolute Ally and maybe not take the worst trade here.
Steadfast, brothers.
Acknowledged.
See, control deck 2. Is it the same guy? I really don't remember. Is there a 2-drop I'd rather play than Bruma? Maybe Siege Catapult. So I'll do this first.
The eight protect us.
Eh.
There's a plan. You can't
There's
defeat
always
us.
a plan.
Leave him at 26. Don't want to give him Potential Prophecy for 1 damage. And this could potentially mean more damage than if I had played Black Dragon if I go for Fervor next turn. Although Black Dragon with a Fervor would have traded into that quite nicely. Still kind of forced into the Fervor. Am I though? I'm just gonna play this and see what happens here. Hopefully not a Jav or an Edict.
You won't foil my plan.
But I don't care too much about the life gain against the control deck.
The Dark Brotherhood is a fox, and I shall cure
Did you
it.
hear that?
And I am not going to play the makeshift defenses here. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to play Bone Colossus next turn every time. Okay, so we will trade here,
Take them with
mill
me.
the rest, deal the 2, play big old Bone Colossus, and I think I am going to play this turn because next turn looks like a Fervor turn. And fortunately for us, it's not time for Dawn's Wrath yet.
The waters of life.
At the ready.
He's playing a ramp package too. So if I did go for just Edict, how much damage would that be? I could Edict that away. 5, 6, 7. These could trade, right? So I'd have 9 plus 7 for 16. And if I Fervor, I'm dealing 3, 4. This trades again. Then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 till I'm 12. Plus 4 is still 16. I get to save my Edict, but I lose Black Dragon. Honestly, I think saving the Edict isn't worth it. Might as well just use it if he's gonna, like, if the best thing he could play next turn is just Dawn's Wrath, I'd rather keep the Black Dragon around, right?
Acknowledged.
I am death!
Leave nothing.
Wait. Did you hear that?
I swear, I had every intention on playing this Divine Fervor. It just didn't happen. We didn't get around to it. Bone Colossus is pretty good against control decks. Scouts in 2018? Post nerfs? Maybe it's a more aggressive Scout. Honestly, I think Scout's still good. I want to make sure I have something to do early, but I'd rather get a 1-drop. Unfortunately, nothing to do.
I'll scout ahead. I'll scout ahead.
He's not messing around with the card draw.
There's a plan. There's always a plan.
Tokens have traditionally been favored against Ram Scout,
Smell the stench of
but
the
level
living.
3 Drain Vitality is still a beating. And while Siege Catapult and Bone Colossus are probably pretty good in the matchup,
Bless us.
neither are currently at our disposal.
You with every word.
But we have passable early plays.
Gone.
It's starting already. Oh, it's continuing.
Bless us, Kai. May we serve you with every word.
Honestly, I'm considering splitting the lanes because if you play, if I draw a pit line, I'll feel pretty bad. But I want them in the same lane if he plays his mage.
Bless us, Kai. May we serve you with every word.
Well, we'll have to see what happens here.
I will keep Sotha Sil's people alive.
Well, that's all the excuse I need to play Divine Fervor. But wait, will something change my mind again? No, not really.
Chimera
For the warrior white.
Don't have Shadowfen Priest. And it'll be a good day. What do we think he shuffled in? Hopefully something really greedy that he doesn't need for like a billion turns.
I've got you covered.
The ink protect us.
That'd have been nice.
For the
That'd have been
warrior
way better
white.
than Dawnstar Healer. But I couldn't go for the draw first, unfortunately. With the whole limited amount of magic situation.
Hiding will not save
Okay, that is a huge bummer. Trying to think about if Resolute Ally makes a difference. It doesn't really make a difference, right? I might as well do it now, though, while I can hit 3 things, but that's just gonna die anyway. Just Cloud Rest and Priest of the Eight. Yeah.
The eight protect us.
Don't want to play this over there, since it will just die to the sheer point anyway.
A little distraction might
Leaves nothing.
So at that point, it would be the highest priority attack target. This is a tough one. Didn't get crazy early starts with Siege Catapult or Pit Lion or 5th Legion or anything.
Waters of life.
And he is ramping. He's ramping a good amount. That actually gives me a lot of time, a lot of breathing room.
behold my power.
Yeah, I think I like the Colossus.
Nothing.
Wait! Did you hear that?
Because I can weave in the Marksman with that play as well. I might as well play everything because he can only Red Brahmin one lane. Which is a big part of the reason I put the Ebon Colossus left with the Priest of the Eight as opposed to right with the Cloud Rest. So if he does Red Brahmin, the damage is closer to being evenly divided there. I think I'm a tiny bit off lethal. Like, maybe 1. Eh. Oh, never mind. That should be lethal. 6, 9, 12, 15, 20, 22, 23, 26.
Behold my power.
I'll take them with me.
Alright, we pulled it out. Crushing it with Token Spellsword. Tokens featuring Catapults and Bone Colossus, which was really, really good in these games. It helped that we were up against decks that it's pretty good against in general.